enter into our new church. I will do the last cut, and we will enter our new home.
Hi, welcome to Pop Talk Show. Today we're going to talk about the history of Prince of Peace, and we're going to share some of our experiences as being a member here. Hi, Miss Florence. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, and yourself?
I'm doing well.
That's great.
So, I've been a member here for as long as I can remember. We actually have 3 generations of members here, and I do not want the storybook to end. I want it to keep being written. I actually have a 2-year-old, and I just want him to grow up in this church. I love it so much.
That is great.
Could you share some history and tell us how Prince of Peace came about?
Sure. It was in May of 1923 in a small house on Scott Street. We had a pastor at that time by the name of Reverend James. Well, he pastored Prince of Peace for 2 years. Then he left and the church moved to Beaumont Street. We were blessed because of the growing and the financial services that we had. The church moved to 2741 Dayton Street, and that's where I came along. I was under the pastorage of Reverend Fred McDonald. The church grew and blossomed and grew and blossomed, and we were really blessed. But we must remember the most important day. On March the 10th of 2012, in a 200-car parade, we came to 9350 Natural Bridge Road by the grace of God. Sure, it wasn't easy, and it's never going to be easy. There are going to be trials and tribulations for everyone, but the Lord got us through it all. And we know that since you got a family here, and you bringing up your little 2-year-old, you would be sitting in my chair interviewing somebody else because you would be able to let them know the joys that you received from Prince of Peace Church.
What are some of your best memories that you had here at the location?
Some of my most fondest memories I would have to say is from being baptized here at 2741 Dayton, also the Carnival for Christ, and I would just also have to say a number of youth activities and youth outings that I did under the leadership of Miss Ann Roy.
And just overall, that development just gave me the push that I needed to come back and serve in the children's ministry currently and also the young adult ministry.
One of my best memories at the old location on Dayton was, of course, my Pop Steppers. We used to minister from our hearts, from our souls. We continued to reach youth, not here just at Pop Church, but we would go out and minister at other churches. I loved how strong we were and how we had no shame. We just ministered.
Your best memory should have been when I proposed to you at Prince of Peace when we were kids, and when we got married at Prince of Peace.
One of my best memories was when I seen the Pop Steppers for the very first time. It was so epic. It was like crazy, and then it was like how everybody was stepping together, and it looked like a really nice family. It was really cool.
I've been a member of Prince of Peace Baptist Church since 1955. I think I was around 15 years old at that time. One of my fondest memories of being a member of Prince of Peace Baptist Church is that trap door where we, at that particular time, we were baptized. And I always would look to my left and I could see this trap door where the pastor sit, Pastor Fred McDonald. And I remember when they used to move those chairs and lift that trap door. So one day I looked over and I looked down into this supposedly baptism pool, and I saw this green water. And I promised Jesus, if he kept the thought of my mind, I would never go down in that water to be baptized in that green water. So I waited until the new church was built before I was baptized by Dr. Reverend Fred McDonald.
He asked me to become a deacon, and my first response was, since we're having an honest conversation, I said, you know what type of person I am. I'm a black and white person. I shoot straight down the middle. I don't sugarcoat things. And sometimes you can offend people when you look at life like that. And he said it doesn't really matter. as long as your faith in God is strong and you say focus on that, he said, I think you'll make a good deacon. Sometimes you don't look at yourself in certain roles that God wants you to fulfill.
Being under a pastor that is teaching you the word, is very inspirational. And you guys are sometimes inspirational. So.
Sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes.
I became a deacon because Pastor asked me. I never considered myself clergy, holy. I considered myself spiritual, but never of the cloth, so to speak, on any level. Being a deacon is about being a servant of God's people and taking care of God's house. And he told me that he trusts me to do that.
Growing up with Ronnie, we had 9 choirs. We had Boy Scout troop and a Girl Scout troop.
Right.
And their best song that all the churches wanted to hear was "You Got to Move."
By Bill
Allen,
right?
yeah,
You got
that's
to move, right.
when you go to any church. That's all they wanted to hear was him sing that. I wish they had made a record, but they didn't.
Right.
Ronnie and I have been friends for a long time.
Well, you were in your age bracket, the
Yeah.
people that you were friendly toward.
Right,
So
we sat in certain sections of
Right.
the church because our little group sat in the back of the church. Once we used to sit in the balcony, but Miss Marvella saw us sitting up there talking, and she kept looking up, and we kept looking at her, and all of a sudden she left the choir stand, going down one aisle, and we went down the other way because we knew she was on her way to get us.
So yes, Prince of Peace has been good to me growing up, and in fact, as a young woman when I was in college, my church helped me and Charlesetta Sisson to go to the Youth Baptist World Alliance in the Philippines. That experience expanded my life. We went to Hong Kong, we went to Tokyo, beside the Philippines, and we went to Hawaii. We just went halfway around the world. And if it wasn't for Prince of Peace helping me to do that, I never would have had the experience.
I have been at Prince of Peace all of my life. I was baptized at an early age of 9 years old by the late Reverend Fred McNow. I was on the junior usher board at the age of 9, and now I'm on the Mother's Board of the Prince of Peace Church.
I love my church because people are kind, the pastor is great, and he teaches good lessons. All the people care for other people.
I believe that what makes me the most proud about being a member of Prince of Peace is the family atmosphere, the connections I've made, the bonds, the friendships that I really believe they're going to be long lasting.
Previous churches that I attended, the pastor wasn't as welcoming. He did not come down and greet his visitors as well as his members as openly as Pastor Kilpatrick does. He has always been so open and welcoming and loving to all of his members, whether he's just met you or he's been known you. He's a very supportive pastor, and I love that from day one.
it don't make no difference what happens. When you be at a place a long time. There'll come a time when you must pack up and leave.
We had a senior pastor that kept us both involved, informed, and encouraged through this whole process.
I feel good. One way. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I feel sad. Thank you, Lord.
I was feeling sad and excited. Excited because that we're moving to a new church, and sad is because that I've been at the church all my life.
I was so excited. I knew we were going all out for this special occasion, and it was definitely needed. We went beyond and out for this, and it was needed because we've lost a few, but we've gained so many more members.
We're gonna add on to what's out there, and when we add on to it, that's done under the Lord, we're gonna be all right.
The junior high school, they were incredible. They played and performed at our old church, then they came to our new location, and when we drove up, there they were to greet us.
I have had the awesome responsibility of pastoring this church for the last 18 years. It has been one of the greatest blessings of my life. So one of the questions that was tendered to me was, where do I think the church will be in 5 to 10 years? My prayer is that one, we will have paid off this particular, our facility here, and then well on our way to building a gymnasium with an educational building that will help service the needs of our Christian education ministry, especially with the growth of our small groups. I pray that everyone comes and join our small groups and that we grow out of room, because that is the future of our church. That is building more and more disciples. So let's do something incredible together and build disciples in the next 5, 10, 20, 40, 50 years. Congratulations, Prince of Peace, on our 95th church anniversary. We've come 95 years through faith. And as God continues to give us favor, as God continues to give us influence in our community, let's continue the legacy of faith in our community, bringing souls to Christ, encouraging people as they continue this journey called life. We pray that as we take on the next generation, that we're able to pass the baton of faith just like those wonderful soldiers that passed it on to us 95 years ago, 85, 75, and continuously. Let's do great things for God, because we do have a great church. I love the Pop Church.